The air trembles as the sun ignites the endless horizon, spilling fire across the ancient grasslands. A storm looms in the distance, its black clouds devouring the sky like a predator. But already, a small band of Australopithecus is in motion. They crouch low against the swaying savanna, their wiry bodies glistening with sweat, clutching sharp stones chipped from river pebbles. Their breaths are short, ragged, as they push forward, not for conquest, not for adventure, but for survival itself. Ahead lies the promise of water, a slow-moving river coiling like a silver serpent through the plains, yet between them and its life-giving current stretches a gauntlet of danger. The grass shifts violently, not from the storm, but from something alive, immense, ancient, a silhouette that towers above them, grazing with heavy power. A rhinoceros unlike any of today, its horn like a dagger of bone, its body a fortress of flesh. Facing such giants of nature is not a choice. It is destiny. The band halts, every chest rising in unison, eyes wide with the knowledge of the gulf between their fragility and this colossus before them. Their fingers tighten around stone and branch tools barely worthy of the word, yet symbols of defiance. They edge along the tall grass, calculating instinctively, seeking the wind's direction to mask their scent, each step a whisper on the earth. But survival rarely bends to plans. From behind them, the earth quakes with another presence, a herd of massive elephants, their tusks gleaming their trunks, tearing branches from trees. The Australopithecus are trapped, caught between two giants, their path to water now a battlefield of nature's titans. The storm rushes nearer, lightning cracking the heavens into shards of light. Panic threatens to scatter them, but instinct binds them together. The eldest female raises her hand, her scarred arm signaling unity. In this moment, survival is no longer about strength alone, but about cohesion, the invisible bond of the group. They scramble toward a low ravine, its walls slick with mud, hoping the narrow gully will shield them from both beasts and storm. The rhinoceros snorts, ears twitching, before charging its horn, slicing through grass and air alike. Earth shatters under its hooves, stones leap from the ground, and the band dives into the ravine just as thunder detonates above. Inside the gully, the storm unleashes its fury. Rain lashes like whips, turning dust into rivers carrying mud, and roots in torrents that claw at their feet. The Australopithecus cling to each other, sliding, scraping eyes wide, as the flood threatens to pull them away. Above them, the rhinoceros bellows, the herd of elephants, trumpets chaos of giants roaring against thunder. Yet within the ravine, another danger reveals itself. The water rushes not into safety but toward the river's maw, and waiting there unseen. Until now, the coils of a massive crocodile glisten, scales armored like stone eyes fixed with predatory hunger. Here, in the span of heartbeats, lies the truth of existence 7 million years ago. Survival is not won once, but every breath, every step, every choice, carved against the will of nature's giants. The river churns with a violence that mirrors the storm, its surface shattered by sheets of rain and streaks of mud rushing from the ravine. The Australopithecus cling to roots, and each other, their cries drowned in the thunderous roar. One slips his body sliding down toward the mouth of the river, where the crocodile waits, jaws parting with patient certainty. In an instant, 3 others hurl themselves forward, clutching him with hands hardened by struggle. Their combined weight strains against the pull of the water fingernails, tearing into mud, yet they refuse to release him. Unity once again wrestles with chaos. A jagged stone dislodged by the current tumbles into the river, and strikes the crocodile's snout. The beast recoils, snapping furiously, its tail thrashing waves that crash against the ravine's walls. In that pause, the band hauls the slipping one back onto higher ground, their bodies colliding into a heap of trembling mud-caked figures. But no reprieve lasts long. Above the rhinoceros rams its horn into the ravine edge, sending cascades of dirt tumbling down like a landslide. The herd of elephants surges past their massive feet, hammering the soaked ground, shaking loose boulders that crash into the water. The ravine becomes a trap, its walls threatening to collapse under the weight of nature itself. Panic floods the band again until the eldest female, her face lined with scars of survival, leads them upward toward a fissure in the rock, a narrow path winding to higher ground. Their limbs strain mud pulling at their ankles, but the thought of breath of life of tomorrow drives them upward. At the ridge, the storm splits the sky open. Lightning illuminates the savanna in white fire, revealing shapes far more dangerous than the storm itself. Lions, maned and massive, slink along the periphery eyes, reflecting the storm's light like burning coals. They too are driven by hunger, drawn by the scent of mud-soaked, exhausted prey. The Australopithecus, perched on the ridge with nowhere to retreat, stand exposed between predators and the abyss. One of the males raises a stone above his head, shouting in silence with nothing but the glare of defiance in his eyes. The others follow, lifting branches, stones, their ragged forms framed by lightning. They are not strong enough to kill a lion, but strength is not their weapon, will is. For tense minutes that stretch like eternity, the storm, the river, the giants, and the predators collide in a maelstrom of sound and fury. The lions edge closer, their tails lashing, muscles rippling. Then, as if nature itself intervenes, a bolt of lightning strikes a dead tree nearby, igniting it in a burst of flame. Fire hisses in the rain, a paradox of destruction and salvation. The lions flinch, growling, their predatory eyes torn between hunger and fear. The Australopithecus seize the moment, waving branches through the flames, turning them into blazing torches. Sparks dance across their faces, shadows twisting into masks of primal defiance. The lions retreat into the storm's curtain, vanishing as if swallowed by the darkness. Breathless, shaking, the band gathers around the burning tree, their eyes wide, not only with terror, but with something greater awe. Fire, the wild force of the sky, has for the first time been touched, grasped, wielded. They do not yet know what it means, but in this moment it becomes their shield, their first spark of dominion in a world ruled by giants. The fire sputters against the downpour, but its glow endures, fragile, yet unyielding, a beacon in the storm. The Australopithecus huddle close, their trembling bodies painted in flickering orange and shadow. They press damp leaves to wounds, binding them with fibers torn from plants, drawing upon instinctive knowledge of healing passed silently through generations. The youngest clings to the arm of the elder female, his eyes wide not with fear now, but with wonder at the flame that dances before him. In the midst of exhaustion they laugh, not the laughter of joy, but the laughter of survival, a sound pulled from the depths of relief that they are still here, still breathing beneath a sky that had tried to erase them. Morning comes with a sky scrubbed clean, pale blue stretched across the savanna. Steam rises from the wet earth, and the giants of nature have vanished into the distance. Broken branches, footprints deep in the mud, and the carcass of a tree struck by lightning remain as silent testimony to the chaos of the night. The band emerges from their shelter, faces smeared with ash, steps cautious but purposeful. They moved toward the river at last, not as prey scattering before predators, but as survivors who had faced the giants of nature and endured. At the water's edge, they kneel, cupping the cool flow into their hands, drinking deeply. One dips a broad leaf, folding it into a vessel to carry water back to the others, a simple act yet profound, for every gesture of adaptation is a seed of future triumph. Together, they forage berries, still clinging stubbornly to branches after the storm, and with clumsy but determined effort, they trap small fish in shallow pools left behind by the flooding. Hunger loosens its grip, replaced with the warmth of sustenance shared. As the sun climbs higher, the band gathers beneath a canopy of acacias. They tear into food share water and tend wounds, their circle alive with the energy of survival. The elder female lifts her torch once more. Its flame small but steady, as if declaring silently to the sky and the earth, we are still here. Around her, the others grunt softly, a chorus of voices, not yet words, but carrying meaning, all the same, unity, defiance, and hope. Here, on the vast savanna 7.3 million years ago, life was not measured in vies or years, but in moments stolen back from extinction. And in this moment, the Australopithecus stood not as victims of the giants of nature, but as a tribe that had endured. The storm had tested them, the predators had hunted them, and yet they had carved out one more dawn.